Brakhot daf Amud bet. Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Rav Hamotzi Klaim b'bigdo poshtan afilu bashuk. Someone who finds that he's wearing shatnez must remove his clothes, even if he's in a public place like a shuk. My tama. What's the reason? Ein chachma ve'ein tevuna ve'ein eitzah leneged Hashem. There's no wisdom or anything that can battle or come up against Hashem. In other words, sheyish chilul Hashem ein cholkin kavod larav. When it comes to a possible chilul Hashem, that trumps kavod to a person, even a rabbi. Mekve. So now the Gemara is going to try to bring a story or a source to disprove this statement of Rav. So here's the story. Karbu et tamet v'chazru. So people just came from burying a dead person, and now they're walking back. Lifneihem shtei drachim, and in front of them are two paths. Echat Torah ve'echat tima. One is pure and one is impure. Ba b'Torah ba'ini mo b'Torah. If the person whose relative just passed away goes on the pure path, everyone goes with him on the pure path. Ba b'tim'ah ba'ini mo b'tim'ah. If the person whose relative passed away goes on the impure path, everyone's supposed to go with him on the impure path, meaning including Kohanim. Mishum kvodo, because of the kavod of the person whose relative just passed away. Imai, how can this be? How could this be telling us that we should put the kavod of the person who just lost a relative over the avera for a kohen not to be tameh? Lema. Rather, should we be saying ein chachma ve'ein tevuna leneged Hashem? Targuma Rabbi Abba. So Rabbi Abba explains away this contradiction by saying Beit HaPras Drabanan, that this story was talking about a Beit HaPras, which is only makes you Tameh Drabanan. And now we're going to try to prove that a Beit HaPras is only Tameh Drabanan, because Rav Yehuda Amar Shmuel Minpach Adam Beit HaPras veholech. If someone just blows over a Beit HaPras and continues walking, that's okay. Because what a Beit HaPras is, it's a graveyard that was once a graveyard and now it's been turned into a field. Secondly, Vamar Rav Yehuda Bar Ashi, Mashma Derav, Beit HaPras Shenidrash Tahor, a Beit HaPras that was just sort of trampled over and kicked, and if nothing comes up, then it's also Tahor. The Gemara is now going to try to bring another case to disprove Rav's original statement. Tashma, Dama Rav Elazar Bat Tzadok. Midalgin hayinu al gavei aronot shel meitin likrot malchai Yisrael. We can trample on coffins of dead people in order to go and greet the kings of Israel. V'lo likrot malchai Yisrael bivad, and not only to go and greet the kings of Israel. Amru ela afilu likrot malchai obdei kochavim. Also to go greet the kings of other nations. She'im yizacheh yachin beit malchai Yisrael malchai obdei kochavim. For the future, so that maybe you could be worthy of olam haba, and then be able to tell the difference between the kings of Israel and the kings of other nations. Imai, how could this be? How could we be saying that one can make himself impure by trampling over the coffins of dead people for the sake of kavod of kings? Lema, shouldn't we be saying ein chachma ve'ein tevuna ve'ein eitzah leneged Hashem? Kidraba. The answer is as Rava says. Amar Rava, Devar Torah ahal kol sheyesh bo halal tepa chotzes b'fnei hatuma. Rava said that it says in the Torah, anything that creates sort of a tent-like space that is a tefach or larger prevents against impurity. V'she'ein bo halal tefach eino chotzes b'fnei hatuma. Something that doesn't have this one tefach space does not prevent against impurity. V'rob aronot yesh behen halal tefach. Most coffins do have this space. V'gazru al sheyesh behen mishum she'ein behen. But it was ruled that the ones that do have because of the ones that don't have. Meaning the rule was placed on the ones that do have, saying that you still are impure, just for the sake of the few that don't have this space. Umishu kavod malachim lo gazru behen rabbanan. But for the kavod of kings, the rabbis didn't put this gezeira on. I mean, they built in an exception. Tashma. So now the Gemara is going to bring another case to try to disprove Rav's original statement. Gadol Kavod Habriyot shedoche et lo taseh Shabbat Torah. A Brakhot said that Kavod Habriyot is greater than or more important than any or one lo taseh that is in the Torah. V'imai. How can we be saying this? How could it be that a Brakhot says that Kavod Habriyot is greater than Hashem or any averot? Lema, shouldn't we be saying ein chachma ve'ein tfuna ve'ein neitzal leneged Hashem? Targuma Rav Bar Shaba. Kaima de Rav Kahana. Rav Bar Shaba, while sitting in the presence of Rav Kahana, interpreted the Brakhot as referring to the biblical prohibition of lo tasor. Achichu aleha. The other rabbis laughed at him. Labda lo tasor doraitahi. Because this prohibition of lo tasor is still a doraita, so we're still putting kavod above a doraita. Amar Rav Kahana. Gavra Rabba Amar Milta lo tachichu aleha. Kol milei drabanan asmachto al labda lo tasor. So then Rav Kahana said, don't laugh at him because he's still a rabbi, and every rabbi still, in a sense, knows what he's talking about. And kol milei drabanan asmachta al labda lo tasor, and all the words and all the strength and power of the rabbis and their teachings rely on this doraita, this lo taseh, the lo tasor. Umishum kvodo sar rabbanan, but for the sake of kavod, the rabbis built in an exception. Tashma. Once again, the Gemara is going to try to prove Rav's original statement wrong. Nitalamta mihem. This is a direct quote from the section in the Torah that talks about Hashavat Avedah. Pamaim shatam mitalem mehem, v'pamaim she'inatem mitalem mehem. There are times when someone can ignore something that's lost on anywhere, and sometimes where one cannot ignore. Haketzad. How could this be? What are the cases? Im haya kohen v'hi b'beit hakvarot. O hizaken ve'eno lefi kvodo, o shahita malachto meruba mishel chavero. If it's a kohen and he's in a graveyard, or an old person who it wouldn't be kavodic for him to pick something up, or if someone whose work is more important than the other person's work, lekach ne'amar v'talamta. For those cases it said to be talamta. Those are the times when someone does not have to pick up a lost item. V'mai. How can this be? How could in the second case we be saying that for the sake of an old person's kavod, he doesn't need to do a mitzvah in the Torah? Lema, shouldn't we be saying ein chachma ve'ein tfuna ve'ein neitzal leneged Hashem? Shani hatam. The Gemara answers this seeming issue by saying that this case is different. Dichtiv v'talamta mehem, because it specifically says in the Torah for the words v'talamta mehem, building in an exception for this case. V'ligmar mina. But shouldn't we learn everything from this case? This shouldn't be an exception. This should be the main case. Rashi explains, like, for example, we should be learning the case of shatnez from this case, if this case has proof in the text of the Torah. So the Gemara answers by saying, Isur mimamona lo yalfinan. We can't learn other cases of Isurim from this case of mamona, money. Rashi would say that we can't learn Isurim mamona because mamona is a weaker type of case, but you can also understand this even if you think that both cases are equal in strength, by saying that, like Tosfot says, the reason you can't learn one from the other is because they're different in the sense that Isurim are cases that come from Hashem, while money cases are between people, and a person has the ability to waive off someone else's obligation to pay him. Tashma. Once again, we're going to try to bring a case that disproves Rav's original statement. Ulachoto. So that's a quote from the part of the Torah that talks about a Nazir. Mata mulomar. What does this specific word come to teach us? Hare shayaholech lishchot et pascho v'molet bano v'shma shemet lo mate yachol yachzor v'yitameh. So if someone is on the way to give a korban pesach or on the way to do the brit milah for his son, and he found out that his relative died, you might think that he should go and make himself tameh, a nazir or a kohen. Amart lo yitameh. So it says lo yitameh. You can't make yourself tameh for that. Yachol b'shem she'ena mitameh lahem kach ena mitameh lameit mitzvah. And then you might think that because you don't make yourself impure for a relative, you wouldn't make yourself impure for a meit mitzvah, someone who passed away without anyone to bury him. Talmud lomar ulachoto. That's what we learn from the word ulachoto. Ulachoto hu de'eno mitameh. So for your sister or any relative for that matter, you wouldn't make yourself tameh. Aval, but mitamehu lameit mitzvah. You would make yourself impure for a meit mitzvah. Imai. How could this be? How could a Kohen/Nazir be able to put the kavod of a meit mitzvah over the prohibition for him to be tameh? Lema. Rather, should we be saying Ein chachma ve'ein tbuna ve'ein etzah neged Hashem? Shani hatam. The Gemara answers by saying that this case is different. Dichtiv ulachoto, because in this case it specifically says the words ulachoto, seemingly building in an exception. The ligmar mina. But then, shouldn't we learn all cases from this one? Shouldn't this be the case that gives us the proof for all other cases? The Gemara answers by saying that sheva al taseh shani. This case, which is a sheva al taseh case, is different, because in this case, the Kohen/Nazir isn't violating a mitzvah in order for the sake of kavod. He's simply being passively not doing a mitzvah or an avera for the sake of kavod.
It's 9 o'clock.
Commentators like Rashi and Tosfot have trouble with this because, while yes, the Nazir/Kohen is passively just not bringing the korban or doing the brit milah, he's actively still making himself tameh. Rashi enters by saying that, okay, this is still just an exception case. Tosfot ventures to say that, no, that's very ambiguous. It isn't just an exception case. The reason why, in this case, the Kohen/Nazir can still put kavod above the avera is because this is a case where, A, the prohibition is not for everyone, it's just for the Kohen and Nazir, and B, this is not a permanent prohibition. A Nazir does not have to be a Nazir. So once again, it's okay to put kavod above Hashem and his prohibition.